Good morning, my children, and welcome to your English class, the class of the teacher Jacob. Today, my children, we're going to continue with the geometric shapes. Remember that this is a very interesting topic that we have seen since Kinder 1. But for those of you that are new to this school, this is good for you because this is the way to learn them in English. So, before we continue with the final stage of the geometric shapes, let's review the previous ones, starting with the lines. Remember, we have three types of lines. There is the vertical line when the line is standing, the horizontal line when the line is like in a sleeping mode, en modo dormir, and there is the vertical line, which is the lazy one. That's why it's always inclined. Okay, very good. Now we had also the curves. We have three forms for the curves. The first one is in form of the letter N. Do you remember? Also known as semicircle. The second form is in form of the letter U. Okay, again like a semicircle. And finally, the one that looks like mountains. Do you remember the mountains? Those are the three forms for the curves. Now continue with the geometric shapes. We also had the square. Remember the square? And finally, we had the rectangle. Remember, there are two types of rectangles. The one that is in horizontal form or the one that is in vertical form, like a building, the forma de un edificio, that is the rectangle. The second stage of the geometric shapes, we had the triangle. Do you remember the triangle? That looks like a slice of pizza. We also had the rhombus. The rhombus, remember, looks like a kite. Do you remember what is kite? Remember, kite, it's a toy that we put on the air. Another geometric shape that you remember? Okay. We also had the cone, like you mentioned it. The cone, for example, the one that we put on the ice cream, that's the cone. Or sometimes when we are in a party, we use cone hats. Usamos esos sombreros que parecen en forma de cono. Those are again cones. And finally, we saw the pyramids. For example, here in Mexico, we have very famous pyramids like the Tenochtitlan and some other around this area of Mexico, okay? Or the pyramids of Egypt. Okay, those are also very well known. Now, today, finally, we're going to finish this topic with more geometric shapes. Again, some of them are new, some of them we already know. But let's commence. The first one is here, and it's an oval. Now, what objects do you remember that has the shape and form of an oval? Like an egg. Remember, there are two types of eggs, the ones that we eat or the ones that contain a baby animal inside. Remember, when the egg cracks, the baby animal appears, okay? So the oval looks like an egg. Another object is a football, okay? The American football, that ball looks like an oval. Now let's continue with the cylinder. Now the cylinder, as you can see here, it's another three-dimensional figure. Remember, the three-dimensional figures like the pyramid or the cone is when we have three sides of the figure and we can see it from all different sizes. Recuerden que una figura tridimensional es cuando la podemos observar de cualquier lado y tiene más volumen que una figura convencional. Tiene más volumen, okay? That is the cylinder. And objects that look like a cylinder, the most common example is the glass. Do you remember what is a glass? Remember, glass is the object that is made of plastic or crystal in which we pour, servimos water or milk, juice or soda, and then we drink it. Okay? That is a glass, and the glass looks like a cylinder. Continue with the geometric shapes. We have the circle. Now for the circle, which is one of the most known geometric shapes, we had a ball, for example, a football or a basketball or a regular ball. We have a lollipop. Now I'm gonna tell you what is a lollipop. Lollipop, it's a part of the family of the candies, and it's something that you lick. Very delicious lollipops. That's one of them in form of circles. And finally, we have the cube. Okay? Now, the most common shape and form of the cubes is, for example, a box. Remember what is a box? A box contains a surprise inside, or a gift. When you give a gift or in a box, that means una caja, okay, or a gift or un regalo. All of those objects look like this geometric shape in form of cube. And finally, we have a dice. The dice is also has a cube form. I'm gonna show you what is a dice. This right here, my children, is a dice, and as you can see here, we have several dots in each one of these faces, okay? Cada una de estas partes se les conoce como lados o caras, and contains dots with several numbers. For example, in here we have 6 dots, 4 dots, and it's also very interesting when you play because it's another way to count objects, okay? Very good. Now, before we start with an activity, an extra activity, please repeat after me the new vocabulary. Oval. Okay, a little bit with more energy. Oval. Cylinder. Cylinder. Circle. Circle. Cube. Cube. One more time, a little bit louder. Cube. Very good, excellent. Now, if we put together all of the geometric shapes that we practiced and we learned today, if we want to use it to make an object or a drawing, remember the last class we practiced creating a robot, and we use figures like the squares, like the rectangles, like a vertical line. We can have more drawings or more objects based on all the geometric shapes. For example, today we're going to practice, we're going to try to create a house. Do you remember what is a house? House, obviously in Spanish, means casa. Now, today with the teacher, we're going to work together to create, to draw, and to make a house. So let's start with this. Remember that you have to help the teacher. First of all, the main part, which is the house in general, what geometric shape do you think we need? Para crear la estructura de la casa, la base, what object do you think we require? ¿Cuál requerimos? We require a square. So, let's make a big square. Okay, we have the structure of the house, the body of the house. What else? We need windows for the house. Now, for the windows, we can have two forms. We can have either ovals or squares. Now, what do you want to use? Do you want to use squares? Okay. Now, we're going to do 2 windows. That means 2 squares. 1 and 2. Now remember that most of all the windows have the form of a cross. Okay, excellent. Now, every house needs a door. Otherwise, well, or where we are going to enter to that house. So every house needs a door, and the shape and form of a door is like a rectangle. Now we have the door, but we need a handle to open it. So the handle is in form of a circle. No. Then the main part or the upper part of the house, in this case, the place where we have the chimney, is in form of a triangle. Now, most of the houses, once we have the triangle, they contain a chimney next to it. So in this case, the chimney is in form of a rectangle. Okay, and finally, all of the houses under it's covered with grass. Now, grass, if you don't remember, in Spanish means pasto. And the most common form of the grass is in form of triangles. You see? Very good. Now we have our house that is made or built using geometric shapes. Now, this is an example of how to do them or how to apply them. But again, if you want to create your own drawings, si ustedes quieren crear sus propios dibujos, you can make them using these geometric shapes as a base, okay? Como base. Now, if you want to practice them, it's very simple. You only need a sheet of paper and using your favorite colors, okay? It's very important that you practice them so you never forget them. So that's it for today, my children. I hope that you have an excellent day. Take care. Goodbye.